All right. So, hello. Hello, everybody. Um, this is Sensei Victoria Whitfield here from victoriawhitfield.com for your monthly guided meditation class. And I'm really excited for this month's meditation because we're going to be focusing more on centering. So I'm just centering myself in the in the shot. Um, and it's February 2015. You know, we've really been through a lot. And this has been a really interesting month. You know, February is always the love month, and it's inspiring. And it's a new year as well, astrologically speaking. So we have a brand new lunar year, the Chinese New Year of the goat. So community, maintaining focus is really the object of this year. So I'm really excited to to see what comes next, right? Just curious as to what really is in store. So I just want to take a moment to thank you, by the way, for tuning in to all of my wonderful supporters out there on YouTube, as well as all of my students. Thank you so much for joining me and sharing this to others, because meditation is an incredible practice that can really help us improve our focus, release stress, and just, you know, I just heard in the energy the phrase, it's life's lubricant. And why on earth would they say that? So the spirits are saying that meditation is life's lubricant because it just helps to remove our emotional blocks or our emotional and energetic resistance to moving forward. And that's really magical. And it's such a simple practice that it's often overlooked as, you know, I can do this here and there, or maybe I'll do it once. Once, and it'll have a positive effect. Like, it'll fix me. You know, as if they go, boom, hit you in your head, you've been healed. Which everyone knows is a load of crap. But at the same time, we want to believe that someone or something can come in and just save us all at once. But the beautiful thing about the practice of meditation is that it puts the responsibility of peace and calm into your own hands. It really gives you your power back because it's an ongoing practice. And not only an ongoing practice, but a lifestyle. I just had a wonderful conversation with one of my clients earlier today, and she's also a student of the dojo. And she saw this really cool article from Spirit Science where they were talking about lucid living. And I just wanted to shout her out there. And just, I read through it. It's amazing. And one of the questions that the writer asks is, how would you live your life if you only had 60 seconds left? Ooh, how would you feel if you only had 60 seconds left to live and to really enjoy life? So it was really thought-provoking. I put the I put the article down and I'm like, okay, let's go into that mindset. And I just started to cry. I'm like, okay, I get it. You know, all the meaning and all the beauty just rushes into you. And it's because that's really your authentic energy. Who you really are and what matters most is what that sort of a mindset can bring out of you. So that being said, tonight's topic for the monthly free meditation class that we do on Google Hangout on Air is centering. as a meditative practice. So what is centering? Have you ever seen someone doing yoga or Tai Chi and they're rocking back and forth until they find a comfortable spot, or rocking back and forth, forwards and backwards until they find a comfortable spot, just to really find their center? That's a physical manifestation of a centering exercise for postural and structural integrity. Also, if you're a performer, it's important for you to find your center so that you can deliver your energy to the audience, or to use your body. Say if you're a singer, like I've had 11 years training, classically trained soprano. So as the singer, you find your center so that you align your instrument, because we're inside of a fluid instrument, singers are, because your instrument is your voice, your throat, your resonator, your lungs, as well as your abdomen. Your whole body is your instrument. So being conscious of that, it's important to be in alignment first before you offer your tone, so that your tone is pure and well-formed. Okay, so centering, finding that center. As a meditative practice, centering is really powerful because it helps you to find your authentic energy. When you're an empath, nothing is more important than defining who you are versus who the next person or who everybody else is, basically. Because let's recap what an empath is. An empath is, okay, I've got like 5 spirits talking to me at the same time. Someone just said, make sure everyone knows that we all are empaths, essentially. Okay, yes. As animal beings, living beings, sentient beings, we are all empathic. Trees are empathic. Rocks are empathic. Animals are. We're all empathic on a base level. But being empathic in and of itself is a sense. You know, the same way that we have the sense of hearing, the sense of smell, the sense of taste, touch, of sight, all these different senses, the 5 senses that we have. The senses that we have, the purpose they serve is to help us gather data and to communicate and commune with our environment as well as ourselves. It's the gathering of data for the purpose of interaction and communion, you know, via analysis or generation of sensation, etc., etc. So, given that, the empathic sense is an additional sense. So we have 5, but the empathic sense is the knowing sense. The way that it's best described is receiving data on your environment or on others without any data coming from visual, auditory, taste, touch, or, oh my goodness, sight. Oh no, I think I might have said visual already, but you get the version. There's the information is coming from not the other 5 senses, but you're picking up data from something more than just a physical exchange. So how does that happen? It's our feeling sense. It's our feeling knowing sense. It's otherwise called instinct. You know, if you want to use a non-woo term. So being empathic is someone who instinctually is able to pick up on danger in the environment, uh, frustrated emotions in the environment. Your empathic sense is kicking in when you, say, go to a funeral and without looking at anybody or anything like that, you just walk right into the room and you can feel the sadness. Even if you're not at a funeral, say you're at the office just on a regular day and you walk by someone's desk or computer and you just get this kind of tightness in your body or a tension, and no one was really saying anything. You're just able to pick up on that intuitively. Mothers in particular, their empathic sense is made very acute so that they're able to glean more information off of their children and really protect them on another level, because they're able to connect in and just know if something is wrong, because it's coming from the feeling knowing sense, not from, okay, yeah, my baby's sitting there and is quiet and looking fine, but I just have this sense of something's about to happen or something is happening, let me go investigate. And then we find out something actually was an issue. The empathic sense. The flip side of the empathic sense, though, is it can get overloaded. Now, I just want to pause for a second and note, not everyone is born with an acute empathic sense the same way that not everyone is born with an acute vision sense. So yeah, I can see kind of far. Not really. I can't see past the end of my arm yet. As well as we know some people who go into, say, being a sommelier or fragrancer, their sense of gustation, their smell and taste is acute, like very acute and fine-tuned. They're just natural at that. They've honed it over time as well through exposure to different forms of data and memorizing and remembering all of the data they've exposed themselves to. But they were born with this natural, acute sense of gustation, and that's what really makes them a master connoisseur of taste and smell. Or how musicians have a mastery of the auditory sense, just being able to hear different tones. There's certain people who are even born with perfect pitch, where they will know what exact vibration is correct and in alignment with what is considered middle C, or the center of all musical tones is agreed at. Okay, this is where everything begins, is middle C, and they've memorized that vibrational tone so that whenever they hear something playing in the key of C, they can tell if it's in tune or not, and they don't even need the little tuner instrument that reads the vibration. No, they've got it because their sense is so acute. People who are born with a more acute empathic sense tend to be more sensitive people. They have access to, for better or for worse, they have access to more emotional information about their environment. They're just able to pick up on it. And that's why it'll affect their personality, and the way that they interact with others, because they have access to more emotional, knowing, feeling sense information than other people who weren't born with an acute empathic sense. So what does this mean? There's a repercussion. The person who's born with an acute empathic sense, the sensitive person who ends up being the caring type or the emotional type, just this sensitive, sometimes it manifests as them being spiritual or always wanting to help, or in the darker sense, people-pleasing. For them, the repercussion of this is the empathic overwhelm, where you're picking up on and you become such a saturated sponge full of everybody else's and everything else's energy. Their feelings and their emotions are inside of you. And if you're not careful and if you're not aware of this happening, you can become devoid of your own personality. You become an eternal chameleon, or you wear masks wherever you go to look a certain way to others because you're playing to the feeling of each environment rather than wherever you go coming from your center. Hi, Tiffany. If you're watching, Tiffany says being connected to your core. Tiffany Russo Kane. So if you're connected to your center, if you're aware of your authentic energy, you wouldn't be someone different, almost, well, I mean, not schizophrenic in like the diagnosed sense, like, oh, you have a mental illness, but rather everywhere you go, you're switching up your personality to be able to fit in or adjust to the environment. Now, that's a survival technique because, you know, why would someone do that? So that they can survive, so that they can deal with all of this excess feeling and emotional data that they're getting from the environment. If all of that is very technical and blah, 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 blah. You clicked on this to meditate. So if all of that is vibrating or resonating with you, then you are going to want to practice grounding, which we've done another Google Hangout on air on. You can put that in YouTube and find it, or go to victoriawhitfield.com and just scroll down, or put that in the search bar. You'll find it. How we did grounding meditation. You're going to want to do grounding, centering, and clearing meditations. Meditations, exercises, behaviors, habits, lifestyle. If you are suffering from a sense of empathic overwhelm, where you're just like, oh my God, I can't go, let's say, to New York City because I just get overwhelmed by too much energy. Or whenever I'm in a relationship, I feel like I'm losing myself to the person, or I'm afraid of opening up because I'm afraid I'm going to lose myself to the relationship. Or I feel like I've lost myself because of my job, or because of my health took a turn for, you know, an unexpected, like, nosedive. If you're afraid of losing yourself, it's because you're acute to this sense of your environment, and also you're not centered. There's a lot of information out there about being grounded and how important it is to be grounded. Say if you're a holistic therapist or an energy worker, you know, there's a lot of education out there about being grounded. Yes, that is awesome. But if you are just grounded and not centered, you're missing a really key part of the equation. So centering. Right now I'm hearing in the energy to pull an oracle card. This month's deck is the, let me see how close I can get, is Earth Magic Oracle Cards deck by Stephen D. Farmer. Wonderful shamanic oracle cards deck. I know we have a lot of Doreen Virtue ones here, but there's other people out there who do oracle cards. So again, if you've never pulled an oracle card before, it's a really great exercise for just getting you a quick message and giving you some spiritual guidance. It's always positive. Sometimes it's, you know, thought-provoking, or, ooh, well, I think we know who it is. I hope you saw that on camera. One of them leapt out, and that will happen sometimes. Let me just get this. that will happen sometimes as you're pulling oracle cards, that the energy is just going to pull the card for you rather than you pull one yourself. So trust your intuition, trust in synchronicity, know that Spirit is guiding you all the time. Okay, so let's see who left out of the deck. Ooh. So let's see, how close can I get this for you? Forest, breathe. And I'll be posting this on the Twitter, the Instagram, the Facebooks, all the good stuff. Right? Forest, breathe. A gorgeous, gorgeous green, lush environment. Ooh. Get the glare out of there for you. Beautiful rendition of the forest, and I don't, this down here it almost looks like there's beings in the woods, like shadow beings. Fascinating. So let's read this to you, and let's see what the reading is. Forest. So he writes, your breathing is too shallow. Right? Although it may feel natural, it is an unhealthy habit that causes this shortness of breath. When you subconsciously shorten your breath, no matter if this is habitual or triggered by some event or circumstance, it activates certain physiological signals that prepare your system for fight or flight. Another conditioned response to perceived danger is to hold your breath. This is your survival response, although it does not serve you to do so. So breathe. Inhale deeply, regardless of your concerns, worries, or problems. Then let it go. Next, allow yourself to breathe a little deeper and slower a few times. Remember that every breath you inhale is a gift, and every breath you exhale is a gift. The forest is a clear reminder of how this works. The reason why the forest is a clear reminder of how this works is because when the tree takes in carbon dioxide, it is giving the gift of cleaning the air to everybody. When the tree exhales and releases oxygen, it is given the gift of oxygen to everybody. There's a continuity and connectivity. You are never breathing alone, and you never are breathing in isolation. So I'm listening to the energy to see, well, why then is the forest coming forward for centering? First and foremost, what I'm hearing is color green, which is in the yogic tradition, the heart chakra. So the heart chakra is green, and it's a sense of being vulnerable, opening your heart, and being authentic. It does take vulnerability, and it's a strength and courage. Heart, you know, the French word for heart. It takes heart and courage to be open and vulnerable and authentic. And that's what centering is all about, really connecting to your authentic energy. So that's a heart chakra issue that's coming up. But also your breathing is a powerful centering exercise. Hello! And that's a great segue to tonight's meditation. So how do we center? In a centering meditation, centering meditations tend to be more mundane rather than like fantastical, where we're gonna ride a unicorn through the ocean of bliss, and Yogi Bhajan is like dancing on stars or something crazy. Crazy and fabulous, don't get me wrong. It's like, oh, I'm like a hawk. And, there's people, loving the world and rainbows coming out of their hands. Sure. Every every form of meditation has its own awesomeness, So if you were tuning in for like one of those fantastic journey meditations, we're going to stretch your mind a little bit tonight. We're going to stretch your mind a little bit tonight in a good way. Centering meditations are more mundane. Why? Because the goal of a centering meditation is to get you to square one. To get you to square one. So the body is the vehicle for getting you to square one in a centering meditation. So if you've ever been to, let's say, an MBSR class, for those of you who don't know, that's mindfulness-based stress reduction, an MBSR class. That is a centering meditation. Also just the practice of presence or mindfulness by itself. MBSR tends to, I know they both use the word mindfulness, but there's like a little bit of a difference between the two of them. And mindfulness just on its own is like a lifestyle. It's more active, whereas MBSR is more clinical and stationary, just in terms of the actual techniques and practice of it. So mindfulness is like it's applied to an action that you're doing already. So I'm going to be more mindful of how I eat and the sensations of the food in my mouth and it going down into my body and how I respond to it and all of that. That's mindfulness meditation. Or just hearing all of the sounds that are around me, whether it's the whir of the fan, the ticking clock, the music, the cars outside, being more mindful. Whereas mindfulness, MBSR, mindfulness-based stress reduction, is watching the mundane sensations of my body and just staying within the body or staying stationary and being still to absorb all of the ambient mundane information, whether it's good or bad. Both is being with the data that you're getting. So you can be mindful of your grief. You can be mindful of your rage, just being present to what is happening now rather than avoiding it. But all these fall underneath the umbrella of centering exercises. And mindfulness is what we're going to be practicing tonight, being mindful of your breath. So what I want you to do is find a comfortable position. How do you do that? How? As we were saying before, sit, or if you're laying down, sure, lay down. But what I want you to do is do a lateral shake and then a vertical shake. So laterally, which means side to side, let's say left to right. What I want you to do is just rock a little bit, or if you're on the ground, if you want to roll a little bit, as if you're kind of snuggling in. Ooh, that felt nice to think of. Side to side, rocking back and forth. You may want to sit up more on your sit bones, just so you can find your natural center. And basically allow the lateral rock to get smaller and smaller. The lateral rocking gets smaller and smaller until you're you're moving like inches, and then you're moving millimeters. You're moving your spine millimeters side to side until on its own your spine finds this sense of center, where everything's just stacked and you're not like erect, you're just aligned. And then I said vertical, but I don't know how you would do that. So forward and backward, rocking forward and backward. Yeah. By the way, if you know how to do some vertical rocking, send me a video of that. That would be so interesting, to me at least. I love this laughter energy. This is great. So back and forth, and then inches back and forth, half an inch diameter of the rocking, and then millimeters, until again it naturally finds center. That in itself is a physical centering exercise. So what I want you to do is, now that you've found your center, just close your eyes and feel into that. What I want you to do is to resist the urge to judge or analyze. We are simply going to be taking in data. Simply just taking in data, taking in data, taking in data. So if we're just taking in data, we're not making any judgments of whether this is a good feeling or a bad feeling. No, this is just a feeling of straightness, or a feeling of being at attention, or a feeling of being draped. Right? So we're looking at the sensations and the data of our bodies. So with your eyes closed, just looking at how your body feels after physically centering before we go into the centering meditation. Balanced, held. So what's coming up for me over here? I feel held, as if my body has been locked into place. Not locked, but like clicked into place. The trunk of my body in particular. And notice I'm not saying this feels good or this feels bad. No, don't worry about that. And if there is an ache in your body being in this posture, you can do the centering exercise again until you find your space of alignment. But sometimes some muscles we don't normally use like this to be properly aligned. Well, properly is a judgment, to just be aligned and balanced. So when you are aligned and balanced, there's this there's an imbalance that occurs because your body's used to being crunched up or hunched up, and that's its normal state. And so let's continue to deepen our centering of our bodies with MBSR. MBSR means just watching, mindfulness-based stress reduction, just watching the sensations of your body. So notice, for example, first and foremost, where is the distribution of weight in your body? It's the distribution of weight. I personally don't believe in gravity. I believe in magnetism more. So some people may say, oh, look at where your body, where gravity is in your body. I would say instead, personally, because I don't really believe in gravity, where is the highest magnetic pull to the ground for you? Excuse me. So for me, I feel it on my sit bones right now. The mass of my body, the pull of my energy toward the earth is the highest on my sit bones. That could also be interpreted as the most weight, because it's the trunk of my body as distributed over my sit bones right now. Second in line, I would have to say, is my feet. I feel a strong pull downward underneath them. And then my head and my arms. So this pull downward, or gravity, if you must. What's your relationship to the ground? Perhaps you may draw the outline of your connection to the ground. So with your eyes closed, as if you could run your finger or a pencil, if you want to imagine a pencil, drawing the outline and tracing the outline of your feet against the ground. If you're sitting, of your butt against the chair as you're sitting. And also drawing more outlines, following the outline of your body. It's helpful if you have a mirror, if you don't have much body awareness. Body awareness is the natural byproduct of regular centering exercises and mindfulness. And body awareness is self-awareness. Self-awareness is healthy. Another centering exercise, looking for heat. Like, where is the heat in your body? If there is any. There is. So my mouth feels warm. My stomach, like the lower abdomen, there's a warmth there. My pelvis, my hands, my armpits, my neck. The arches of my feet and the spaces between my toes feel warm. The undersides of my thighs, aka my hamstrings. Right, so looking for areas of warmth in your body. Centering is just connecting to yourself, but on a physical level. All the mundane data about yourself. The body is the first vehicle to do that. And as we're doing this, as we're looking at all this mundane information, have you noticed your mind getting quieter or your breathing getting smaller? You know, I'm speaking in a regular voice to you, but as we're looking inwardly, suddenly your body's becoming quieter and quieter. I don't have to guide you on some fantastic journey for you to quiet your body. And that's the benefit of MBSR. It's a centering, quieting meditation. If there's a pain in your body, look at it. Does it have a shape? Is it in your whole body, or is it in just one area? Looking for tension now. Not with a sense of like a search and destroy mission, but just looking. Okay, is there tension? And don't judge it, just notice it. You know, oftentimes in grounding and clearing meditations, we're like, all right, breathe into it and let it go, blah, blah, blah. In centering, no. We want you to feel into it. Be with the ache. Fully experience it. And now that you've tuned into your body more, perhaps it's your body's starting to feel very quiet or very still. As you're listening, maybe you can hear more of the sounds in your environment. Maybe the sound of my voice has even changed. But now that you're more quiet, what I'd like you to do is to tune into your breath, like the Oracle card of the month has asked us to. That doesn't mean breathing deeply. Typically in meditation, it's breathe deep and exhale through, like in yoga class, so you exhale through different, yoga poses and things like that. But it's important to just be with the way that your breath is now. Notice it. When I say be with, I mean notice. Or observe. Or witness. Whatever word speaks to you. Noticing if it is a constant cycle of breath. In, out, in, out, in, out. Or if there is a pause between the inhalation and exhalation. Noticing what parts of your body respond to the movement of air. Like, do you notice that your lower abdomen is moving or your chest protrudes slightly forward as you inhale? Are you aware of how your lower back is moving or responding to the inhalations? Small and delicate, but the movements are fine. Delicate, small movements, but they're very clear. Your whole body is breathing right now. Noticing the temperature of the air on your upper lip as you inhale, in and around your upper lip and nostrils. If it is cool or warm. And then the temperature of the air as you exhale in your nostrils and on your upper lip. Is it cool or warm? Typically when we inhale, it is cool and dry. Don't breathe deeply, just breathe naturally. Remember centering. And it is warm and moist as we exhale. And checking in, Now that I'm watching my breath, just tuning into it, maybe for, a couple seconds there, I didn't even have a thought other than looking at, well, what does my nose feel like right now? Didn't think about work, didn't think about my spouse, didn't think about the kids, didn't think about crazy drive home or anything like that. And then all of what I just said, crowd that out with more centering. So again, tuning into the sensations of your body. If you can tune into the cycles of your breath, the next step down is tuning into your pulse. Without moving, are you able to feel your pulse? I'll give you a tip. It gets a little bit easier to feel your pulse in your body if after you exhale, you hold your breath. Don't tighten it, just relax into holding your breath. Usually your pulse will get a little bit louder, maybe in your throat or in another part of your body. Tuning in to your authentic energy. Centering. It's basically like checking in with yourself, becoming curious about yourself. Also, accepting yourself as is. Just accepting as you observe the different sensations in your body is very profound. When practiced over time, it helps you to have more of a clear understanding of what works for you and what doesn't work for you. What, after you tune in without judgment, then you can make more clear decisions. Because you know your energy is the thing. If you don't know your energy, if you don't know how your body feels when centered, it is very hard to make clear decisions. It's hard to communicate authentically because you can't find your center. Now, to round off our centering exercise, usually you can just end here, but I would like to deepen your practice right now. So still being still. What I want you to do is just envision your mind and your awareness and whatever is listening to me right now is like a buzzing ball of light or light bulb in your head. Just feeling it there. On your next exhale, see it drop down out of your head and into your stomach, allowing all the energy that was up in and around your head, that awareness, to be down in your belly. Down in your core. And just sitting with it there, observing it being in your stomach. Seeing how all of your body is draped around this buzzing ball of light that is in your stomach. Draped and shaped around it. All of your body is. Now you're centered. So I'd recommend that you take a moment after the end of this video just to pull out a piece of paper or pull out your journal and write down what it feels like to be centered. And if there's anything that you discovered or noticed that you hadn't noticed before, centering yourself, and also how it feels to have that energy down in your core instead of up in your head. You can repeat this video and this practice so you can get more used to your body's authentic energy. But just remember, grounding and clearing your energy in its own is not quite enough. Because if you're not connected to who you are, if you just keep dumping the energy through you, you lose your identity. So be careful. Or rather, be mindful. I love you lots. Come visit me over at victoriawhitfield.com or here in Westfield at the dojo. I'm looking forward to speaking with you. Comment below. Let me know how you feel. And if you felt any of the energy from tonight's meditation, tell me and share it. What works for you will work for the people that you know and love. So share this on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google+, LinkedIn. Share the good energy with other people who are desperately in need. All right. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next month. Bye. Bye-bye.